Dear colleagues, thank you to our hosts of the European Council of Europe. After 4 years of war, more than 200,000 buildings in Ukraine have been destroyed or damaged, and some 2.5 million houses and flats are no longer fit to live in. We are talking about the total number of residents of The Hague having to leave their homes. The scale of destruction and impact on citizens is unimaginable. Property is just one category in the register of damages for Russia's war in Ukraine. And if I may say so, the least costly. Because what price do you put on the killing of family members, the deportation of children, life-changing personal injuries, sexual violence, torture? These are the questions that the Claims Commission will be dealing with over the next years. Now that we have formally adopted the convention establishing the Claims Commission, I'm pleased to announce that the European Union will provide up to €1 million to pay for the preparatory work. In the meantime, Ukrainians can keep submitting claims to the Register of Damages. There are many examples of claims commissions in the recent past, from the Iran-US Claims Tribunal to the Eritrea-Ethiopia Claims Commission, or the Commission for Real Property Claims in Bosnia and Herzegovina. The Claims Commission in Ukraine is likely to be the most ambitious yet, but the most difficult also to implement. The biggest challenge is the funding. There are precedents that can inspire us. After Iraq's invasion of Kuwait, the United Nations Compensation Commission was able to use Iraqi oil revenues to pay reparations because a percentage of the oil sales went directly into the UN Compensation Fund. Russia is no less liable for the damage in Ukraine than Iraq was for the damage in Kuwait. But Russia will never voluntarily pay for the damage it has done. We already see the attempts to exclude reparations and, in fact, any form of accountability from the potential peace agreement. And this puts a huge responsibility on the international community, including the participants of this International Claims Commission. Together, we must stand up for the victims of this brutal war of aggression. If we do not, more will follow. But we have to get creative about how to mobilize funding to pay out compensation. Between 260 and 280 billion euro of Russian sovereign assets are frozen outside Russia. It is unthinkable that this money will ever be returned. Not with the damage Russia has caused and continues to cause by refusing to lay down its arms. This is the most obvious basis for the compensation fund, but there will be others too. Together with justice for grave violations of international law, reparations are fundamental for accountability. And if we believe in just, durable peace in Ukraine and security in Europe, we must keep on working on accountability. And let me finish by thanking Ukraine, the Council of Europe, and our hosts here in the Netherlands. Thank you.
Secretary General Berset, Your Excellencies, good afternoon, everyone. Today marks a defining moment in our unwavering support for the people of Ukraine as they continue their heroic resistance against Russia's brutal war of aggression, and a defining moment in our shared commitment to upholding international law, restoring justice, and ensuring lasting accountability for the suffering inflicted on Ukraine and its people. Ukraine has endured unimaginable pressure, and it has not broken. It has stood firm, not only in defence of its people, its sovereignty and its European future, but also in the defence of the international legal order itself. Ukraine's future is Europe's future. Ukraine is not just a partner, it is a neighbour and a dear friend. The EU has remained steadfast in its resolve to fight impunity and pursue accountability for Ukraine. And today, we move from principle to action, from aspiration to reality, embedding accountability at the heart of Ukraine's future. More than 3 years ago, the UN General Assembly affirmed a clear principle. Russia must be held fully accountable for its internationally wrongful acts in and against Ukraine and must provide reparation for the damage, loss and injury caused. And since then, the EU, together with its member states and partners around the world, has worked tirelessly to deliver an international reparations mechanism, and I acknowledge the leadership of the Council of Europe. Establishing the Register of Damage in May 2023 was the first essential pillar, and today we are founding the second pillar, turning our collective solidarity into a concrete mechanism for reparations. And that's why I am honoured to be here today alongside HRVP Kallas to co-sign on behalf of the European Union this convention, as well as the final act. Our next priority will be to conclude the convention early next year so that the Claims Commission can be up and running as soon as possible. And time is of the essence. We need to ensure accountability and justice for Ukraine and its people. So let me encourage not only all of you, but also our other international partners to join the convention, because doing so will reaffirm not only our solidarity with Ukraine, but also a firm commitment to the rules-based international order that protects every state. Crucially, the Convention lays out a clear pathway forwards towards the establishment of a compensation fund to ensure full redress for all damage. By signing today, we are reaffirming our collective commitment to identify and secure, in full respect of international law, sustainable sources of funding for the compensation determined by the Claims Commission. And this is why the European Commission's reparation loan proposal recognises that those resources can be used directly by Ukraine to deliver compensation awarded through the Claims Commission. To conclude, this year has tested our collective resolve like no other since the onset of Russia's full-scale war of aggression. And while the geopolitical landscape has shifted profoundly, Ukraine's determination to resist Russian aggression has not, and neither has the EU's unwavering commitment to Ukraine, to its European future and to the international rules-based order. Accountability for the perpetrators of these crimes and reparation for their victims are indispensable to any just and lasting peace. And today, through the EU's signature of this convention, we reaffirm with all of you that commitment clearly, firmly and without ambiguity. Thank you.